Oh crikey,
it's quite a
that
mess.
is absolutely bent. So which one's the bent disc?
On this side.
On that side?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a bit messy, the wheel, but I'm sure we can make that work.
Thanks very much. So when I saw this last time, it was absolutely, oh my god, that's perfect. That's amazing. Thanks for that. It's a good job. Right, I was at 10% charge there, and now I'm 100% charge, and that took about 3 minutes. Okay, let's go. Now, a week ago, I dropped off the front end for my TZR, Maidstone Motoliner, because I just had an accident, and they have looked at everything. I mean, I could tell that the yokes were bent and the forks, the front wheel was bent, but they've done an investigation into it all. The front wheel was bent, one of the discs was bent, the front wheel spindle was bent, both forks were bent, both yokes were bent, and they've fixed all of this. I dropped it off last Saturday. It's now 1 week later. They phoned me yesterday saying, yep, it's all done, all fixed. And considering that some of these things are, you just can't buy them anymore, so your best bet is to go onto the Yahoo auctions in Japan, buy them from there. A set of forks, which you don't even know are straight, £400, plus you've got to get them shipped over to the UK, which is tricky because some shippers won't touch it because there's oil involved. So probably looking at land in UK, you know, thick end of a grand. Good news is Maidstone Motoliner have fixed absolutely everything. It would have cost me something like, I would say, £2.5 to get a new front end. Maidstone have done this for £350 plus VAT. So absolutely incredible. And there are some things that I just didn't think they could fix. I didn't think they could fix the front wheel. So I'm going to be really excited to see what this all turns out like. Okay. I will see you when I get to Maidstone. Oh crikey,
it's quite a
that
mess.
is absolutely bent. So which one's the bent disc?
On this side.
On that side?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a bit messy, the wheel, but I'm sure we can make that work.
Thanks very much. So when I saw this last time, it was absolutely, oh my god, that's perfect. That's amazing. Thanks for that. It's a good job. That's brilliant. All back together and all assembled. Couldn't be any better. Well, what can I say? Absolutely amazed. Absolutely amazed. Not only have they fixed every bent bit and there was a lot of it that was very bent. They've also reassembled the forks, put the tyre and the discs back on the front wheel, reassembled the yokes. Absolutely amazing. I am so pleased. Well, that's great news. So Maidstone Motoliner, definitely, if you've got any problems with your bike, with the frame, forks, anything, take it to those guys. That literally took a week. So made it back. Screws on the doors. That's pretty good. Started off with full charge, 100%. Now we're at 80%. So that's very good. For nearly 200 miles. Right, let's get these out. That's great. And they've straightened, I don't even know which one was bent now. They've touched the paint up on it as well. It's great. We'll get this one in and we'll have a closer look at it. Now, the front wheel, they've put everything back together on this front wheel as well. So discs are back on, tyres back on, tyres even back on the right way round as well. And they've touched the paint up on this as well, because apparently when they're straightening it, you lose a lot of the paint. So let's get this inside as well. Looking at the forks, look absolutely straight now. You can see that, lovely and straight. And they stripped the forks to straighten them and rebuilt them as well, which is good, because I'd only rebuilt them about a month ago and hadn't used them. Front wheel absolutely fine, and I've got the lightest part of that dot there is the lightest part of the tyre, and so it should always be next to the valve. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Maidstone Motoliner. So that's the front end sorted. My bench is a bit of a mess, which is normal for what I do. When I'm working on something, I'll just leave all the tools out, and then when the job's finished, I'll tidy everything away. So that's why it's a bit messy. In terms of what else we have to do on the bike, it's not just these two parts. The front end crash caused a reasonable amount of damage to a few things. One of them was the mirrors. This is the mirror, broken. That's the standard 3XV mirror. What I've got is pattern mirrors off a TRX 850. That's close enough. My bike is not a concours restoration. I just want to ride this bike. The other thing that broke was, well, it didn't break, let me show you. That's the front stay for, it goes as you're riding that way around. That holds the mirrors on. That is bent because this is one I got off eBay, and you can see there, wildly different. I could have just straightened this, but it's going to be very difficult because my front nose cone has broken. I don't actually have the right nose cone to go on this bike. I've got another nose cone, which I'll show you in a minute. So I want everything as straight as possible so I can get the front nose cone back on. So I'll paint this up and then we use that one. One thing I have to change, it makes good sense to change it having a front end, is the headstock bearings. These are the original headstock bearings. They're Koyo bearings, and what I've got is Koyo bearings, and these I bought from Simply Bearings. They're exactly the same as OEM, only for the set they're 100 quid cheaper, so that's pretty good. So I've got the full set of those. Here's something that I need to repair. The headlight has a lug knocked off there, which is, it's on the end of here. There's a plastic welding video that I've watched from Del Boy's garage. I actually used it to fix my son's Peugeot 5008. So I'm going to be able to plastic weld that back on. That's fine. The other thing I need to worry about is a bit more of a problem. It's this little piece of metal here. What this is this is the lock stop there. It should go there, and that stops the forks going too far one way or another, saves trapping your hand between the bar and the tank, and as you can see, that's kind of ripped off there. So I'm going to have to do some work on this with a Dremel to make it fit better, because it's been ripped, and then that needs TIG welding. I thought I would be able to get away with the aluminium welding rod. I reached out to Del Boy, and he came back to me. Thanks, Del, appreciate it. And told me that the risks of doing that is heating up this part of the frame on the motorcycle up to 400 degrees Celsius is probably not the wise idea, and he recommended TIG welding. So what I'm going to have to do is take off all the electronics on this bike, so that when the TIG weld is done, it doesn't fry any of the electronics. You'll know I've got a Zeal on this, so I want to disconnect that. Also disconnect the instrument cluster. We're nearly there with all the problems that I need to fix. So one more thing. The last mechanical thing that's broken is this gear lever over here. As you can see, that is missing something quite vital. So we need to replace that. Now, I would have thought that that would have been, for a 3XV, no chance of getting hold of one of those. But, no. Webbs of Lincoln. I look in this box. Brand new gear lever for a 3XV. I checked the Yamaha stock on these, and they've actually got 7,500 of these gear levers in stock. Still doesn't stop them charging a fortune for them, but Webbs of Lincoln give TZR forum members a 10% discount, so that's a great one. Thanks, Andy, for that. Appreciate it. That's all the mechanicals. Still have to show you how I checked the frame to see if that was straight. I'll need to take all the plastics off just double check that everything we think is straight. But if you look at the headstock here, I mean, this is just a massive pile of meat. There's, if this is bent, then I'd be very surprised. I did some checks initially on it, and it wasn't bent, but I want to be more precise with it, so we'll go ahead and do that. Last thing to show you is the nose cone, which was completely smashed. Luckily I didn't have the side fairings on, so they're not destroyed, but the nose cone, that's just trashed. I'll show you that now. So this is the fairing, the nose cone. You can see it's there's parts missing here. Mrs. Tocky did a great job patching it together. As you can see, this was absolutely slaughtered, but patching it together, just realised that this was too far gone. Lots of cracks, wouldn't still need painting. So my friend Gavin
from the TZR forum is a wizard when it comes to getting things from the Yahoo Japan auctions, and he managed to find this, which is a Pattern 3XV nose cone. It's not an original, it's a Chinese variant, which is fairly standard, but managed to find this for under 50 quid. Okay, by the time we've done all of the shipping and everything, it ends up being over 100 quid, but that's pretty good. Now, the only difficulty I have with this is because it's from Chinese, it's a Chinese fairing, not all of these holes are going to line up with my existing fairing. So when I've got the bike more together, I will put all the fairings on, test fit this, modify the holes as needed so it fits with my existing Chinese fairing, and then we'll be able to send this away for paint. So that then will be the last piece, and hopefully we'll go for an MOT, but we'll probably take a different route this time. All right, take care. Bye.